Hi guys, this is Rowlands. I'm a nutritional balancing practitioner, and in this video I'm going to talk about a very important topic, and it is saying no to get what you want. Now today I'm wearing a new t-shirt with our logo on, so hopefully I'll be wearing it more often in these videos. But anyway, this topic is a very interesting topic, and it's a lot to do actually with self-love and learning to take full responsibility for who you are and what you want to achieve. So saying no actually becomes quite important for a lot of people, especially these type of people that tend to be people pleasers. If you're worrying about what the people think, you tend to live other people's lives rather than your own life. And part of the process of self-love that really should be well cultivated in your 20s as a kind of phase of love, one of the 7 phases of love between the ages of around 21 to 29 is the self-love phase. So it's a topic that I'm quite interested in at the moment, as I am 26. So hopefully I'll be making some more videos on how to love yourself and respect yourself more. But a really important topic is learning how to say no. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So what you want to be doing is you want to be really getting in touch with what you want. Now this is very, very important for a lot of people. A lot of people that tend to be sick, one of the reasons why they're sick is they do what other people want to do. They try and please other people. They go out, they take on extra work, they do too much, they run themselves ragged, they overthink, etc., etc. And what they need to do is you need to really figure out what you want out of life and go and grab it. Now, obviously there's a lot of problems involved with this. It's not an easy thing to do. When you're sick, you have a lot of toxins, you have a lot of chemicals, you have a lot of poor thinking patterns. So in many ways you have to let go of these toxins, let go of these thinking patterns, etc., etc., in order for you to get in touch with your true, authentic, real self that tends to be underneath these layers and thinking patterns. So for example, I spent a good 3 or 4 years physically healing and letting go of the toxins, letting go of friends and poor thinking patterns and poor habits, etc., etc. And what I tended to find is the more that I did this, the more that my true authentic self, who I was inside, who I want to be, who I want to become, how I want to live my life, kind of came through a little bit. And it got to a point where I really wanted to figure out what I wanted to do in life, where I wanted to go, and kind of plan out my future a little bit. And in order to do that, I had to learn how to say no. So one of the really good ways of trying to figure out who you are and what you want is the pushing down exercise. Now I do the pushing down exercise every morning when I do a coffee enema, because it tends to be a little bit more powerful. And definitely for the past year or so, I've been getting more and more intuition and thoughts that just rise up because I'm more connected with my true authentic self about who I want to be, why I want to become it, and what I really truly want to do, and how I want to serve others in the world. So that's it's something that you should be doing every day, especially if you're doing the nutritional balancing program. But it really, really helps you get it back in touch with who you are and really what you want to achieve. Now, one of the problems with saying no is it brings up a lot of fears and anxieties. What happens when you say no to people and you start doing things that you truly want to do? What happens is you kind of start living from a heart/soul perspective. And basically you're stripping yourself naked down to your core and taking a risk or living in faith to do something or to live your life how you truly want to live from the heart. So because of this, fears and anxieties of lack of self-worth, I can't do this, I'm not worthy enough, will come up from your past. And you have to deal with these fears and anxieties, and hopefully I'll be able to give you a few tips and tricks on how to do that in this short video. So, as I said before, learning to say no is about it's getting in touch with the heart, and I've mentioned this in a couple of videos. This new evolution, the new millennium, a lot of people call it, is a little less about survival, and it's a lot more about living from the heart and getting in touch with the heart And that's really when your inner self starts to shine through, and saying no to people is extremely important. So in order to get through these fears and anxieties that come up, a really good technique is to actually do something called journaling. Now, when you set your focus on a specific goal, let's say that you want to do something in your relationships with a family or in business, etc., etc., hopefully you've got in touch with your heart, you've healed enough to figure out what you want to do, and then you'll set a goal for yourself. Right, I want to achieve this. And these fears and anxieties are going to come up, as they will do a lot of the times, even just following the nutritional balancing program. And what you want to be doing is you want to try and feel the fears and anxieties. A lot of people will run away from these. Their ego will tell them not to do it. They'll have addictions like smoking, alcohol. They'll go out with friends too much, for example. And this is a real important step to letting go of all of these limiting beliefs that kind of are from the past. So what you need to be doing is you need to be feeling the anxiety, feeling the fears, and taking full responsibility for wanting to deal with these fears and anxieties. And then what you want to be doing is you want to write down in your journal what you're feeling, what's coming up, how anxious do you feel, why do you feel anxious, why do you feel fearful. And after you've done that, what you want to be doing is you want to be trying to lean into the past and to figure out why you've got these fears and anxieties. Have they come from a time when you was at school and your teacher kind of put you down for whatever reason? Has it come up because you're having some sort of lack of love, so because you didn't have a particular upbringing that was wholesome and loving? So you want to be trying to get in touch with these old limiting beliefs that are basically stuck with you all your life, often subconsciously, and they're really stopping you from saying no to people and following your goals. Now, once you've got in touch with these anxieties, what you want to be doing is you want to be going back to these anxieties from a loving, adult, mature perspective, and just speak to yourself, speak to that inner child that's wounded from within, and say, look, maybe in the past, let's think of an example. Maybe you are wanting to live in a nice environment, for example, and you want to express yourself in your environment, in your bedroom, say in your bedroom. And maybe your mom or your parents always decorated your bedroom. They always picked your clothes. They always did everything for you. And for whatever reason, you've got this limiting belief that for some reason you can't express your creativity. You don't want to give because you feel unworthy, you feel like you can't do it, you feel like you need your parents to do it, or you shouldn't do it for whatever reason. That's a very valid problem a lot of people have. Now, this kind of wounded child that wasn't allowed to express its creativity, what you want to be doing is you want to be going back to the past, maybe as a parent, and write to that wounded child inside the journal as a parent. So you would write something like, in a mother's perspective, I'm really sorry, Lewis, that I picked out all your clothes for you, that I decorated all your rooms, etc., etc. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to kind of give you what I wanted, try and give you the best start in life, and I thought this was a good way of doing it. It often kind of led to a few anxieties of my own, a few insecurities, because I was kind of worried about letting you express yourself in case anybody saw your expressions and didn't really like what they saw. But that was my own insecurities, that was nothing to do with you. And in reality, what I should have done is I should have let you express yourself a little bit more as a child. Now, as soon as you write that down, you realise it is a false belief and it's not your fault, and you could take full responsibility for changing all these fears and all these anxieties. So, what do you want to do in life? You want to be writing down things that are going to balance out your life and make you happy. So what do you want out of your environment? How do you want to live? Who do you want to be around? What do you want to see when you wake up in the morning? How do you want your relationships to be with family, with friends, with your partner? How do you want that to be? What's your heart saying? Get in touch with your heart. Are you not ready for a relationship maybe? Do you want more meaningful connections with people that are on your wavelength? Would you like to create meaningful connections with your father, for example, you might not have seen very often? So all these things you need to be writing down and try and get in touch with your heart and get in touch with these feelings. Activities, what do you really want to do? What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy walking? Do you enjoy making crafts? you know, all these different things that you enjoy. Rest, how do you want to rest? Would you like a nice, beautiful sauna to rest in? Would you like to go and see someone to do reflexology? Would you like a special area in your house to rest? You know, what resonates with you, basically. Work, how do you want to work? Who do you want to work for? What do you want to be around, the environment, etc. We've got the choice these days. You'll be surprised, you know, the options available in terms of work. Work is a really important one, because if you're wanting to say no to people, you want to be getting in touch with what you truly want out of work, how you want to serve others, how you want to give to others. Think about it in terms of service rather than money, and say no to things that are not going to serve your best interests, basically. And finance, you know, what do you want to do for finance? You know, where's your money coming from in a wholesome way? In your heart, what do you really want from your finances? And obviously your health. Hopefully everyone listening to this video will be following a nutritional balancing program for their health. So obviously you want to be following it as closely as possible for the best health methods. So that's kind of it really for saying no. Saying no, it's all about letting go of your fears. It's all about letting go of your toxins, getting back in touch with your true authentic self. And then when you realise what you want from life and you've written down all these different things based on the balanced lifestyle points I just mentioned, then it's time to say no to people. Don't be afraid. Stop living over people's lives, and do what you truly want. Get in touch with what you truly want, and it'll come from a core soul level. And when you start following these goals, fears and anxieties will come up, because you're stripping yourself down to your core, and all these fears and anxieties that you've been running away from all your life are going to rise up. So do some journaling, get in touch with these feelings, figure out where they've come from, write to that wounded self, write to the child as a mature, intelligent adult about what the truth is, and get past these fears and anxieties and push through them. And you'll realise that you'll really start to live a life that you truly want to live on your own terms, and that's one of the first steps in learning to love yourself. Alright guys, thanks a lot, and I will see you soon. Bye.